Copland is a 1997 released crime drama directed by James Mangold.
It stars Sylvester Stallone, along with a lot of other people, as a sheriff of a small town over the river from New York City in New Jersey. And the special thing about this little area is that it's mainly populated with cops who work in the city. So he's like a sheriff of Copland, hence the title.
Clever.
I know. So so he's surrounded by sort of proper cops, as he feels they are, and they kind of look down on him and everything. And the reason he's not, he aspires to be a New York cop, but unfortunately, he had an accident when he was younger that affected the hearing in one of his ears, which means he can't get on the force because of that. So he's a bit pathetic, to be honest. Drinks too much. For Sylvester Stallone, he did put on some weight for the movie, he's not his normal ripped self. Anyway, so the plot involves corrupt cops, basically, which is not an unusual concept in a film, but it's just the fact that it's set in this town, which is filled with cops, makes it slightly different. So at the start of the film, there's one of the younger cops who's a nephew of Harvey Keitel's character, who's played by Michael Rappaport, and he's driving home, and he thinks he sees a gun held by a couple of black kids in a car. So and his tyre bursts on his car, and he thinks they're shooting at him, and he shoots at them and happens to kill them both. Then obviously all these cops come around, and they want to protect him because there isn't a gun. Suddenly he appears to have thrown himself off the bridge.
Yes, well, they plant a gun.
Well, they do. They try to, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's he doesn't really want them to do that. He knows what's going to happen. He knows it's going to it's bad either way for him. So he suddenly disappears, and Harvey Keitel goes, "Oh no, he's thrown himself over the bridge," and then has he? Which he hasn't, obviously. So and then it goes on from there, and Sylvester Stallone character is sort of he's sort of a bit torn between helping these guys and upholding the law. Basically, there's an internal affairs detective played by Robert De Niro, who's obviously looking at this and doesn't believe that the kid threw himself over the bridge. So and it goes on from there. And it's got a big old cast.
It has, isn't it? Yeah, So 97. I remember when this came out, and I think that's why. Well, so around that period, I guess you're watching things like Goodfellas and Taxi Driver, and you're getting to know those films for the first time, and this one comes along, and it has that cast. It's basically Goodfellas, isn't it? I mean, it's. Taxi Driver. It's all kind of Scorsese's.
Kind of, yeah. You got Ray
Liotta
and Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel, all those people, kind of things. And I think there's a few other faces that may have turned
there's
up,
Robert Patrick, and even Robert John Burke shows up very briefly, who we spoke about, who's in Dust Devil.
Yeah, yes, exactly, he is. And Peter Berg, of course, who we did his film Very Bad Things last week.
Yep, and he was in Last Seduction as well.
Exactly, So I mean, it's got an amazing cast, and I remember when this came out, and I remember the reviews saying this is kind of a standout performance of Sylvester Stallone. He's not ripped in this film, like you said. No. He's acting. He's properly acting. I mean, obviously he is an actor, and he always acts in films, but you know what I mean. It's kind of a more serious role. I don't know if he. I mean, he's done. He directed Staying Alive way back in the late 70s, early 80s, and he's done lots of interesting things.
Yeah, I mean, he wrote Rocky, and obviously was in it as well. And it's not, yes, he obviously had muscles and he was playing a boxer, but it's not really about that. It's about the character, and Rocky is. Well, I mean, he's kind of a bit pathetic, really. His life's not really going anywhere.
Right.
He's not the sharpest tool in the box. I mean, he's made Creed and the sequel to that recently as well. I haven't seen Creed 2 yet, but Creed, again, he's great in that. He's not doing any boxing. He's too old for that now.
Well, he's great in Rambo as well, That's
again,
really
Rambo, I think he sort of...
Original.
After the sort of the Rocky sequels and the Rambo sequels, he became this sort of action hero, like Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
But, the films he made weren't like that to begin with. First Blood isn't an all-out action fest.
No, there's a thriller in there. There's a good film in there. Very good
film. I think people kind of forget, and they just look at him as sort of another muscle-bound action hero, which obviously he was. but he's there's plenty of his action films that are great, like Demolition Man and Cliffhanger and
Tango and Cash.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, exactly.
And Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
No.
I like it, but most people don't.
Okay, that's fair enough.
So
Obviously, but this is different, I think. To
oh yeah.
he's showing a different side to him here, and I think he does it really well. And I think this is why I really like this film. I've seen this quite a lot over the years. I think partly due to him being great in it, and partly due to it having a great cast. I love all those guys from. I'm a big fan of Goodfellas, even though I don't really like gangster movies, but Goodfellas seems to win me over every time. It's a great film, and I love the actors in this film. They all do a really good job most of the time, anyway. I think and I'm watching it again recently for this. I think the plot is some of it's a little bit. Would that really happen? I mean, corrupt, like you said, police is kind of a staple for kind of New York. Boston American filmmaking.
Well, we did Dark Blue a few months ago.
We did that as well, which is corruption in there. I mean, it's a good story. It's a good plot device for kind of thrillers and dramas and things like that. And I don't think it's not too outlandish in this film. I think it's done quite well and it's quite a nice story. But I mainly think it's worth seeing for the acting. I think there's some really great. I'm a big fan of Ray Liotta. I've always liked his work.
Yeah. I mean, again, he's kind of playing.
Slightly opposite to what he usually plays.
He's obviously put on some weight for the role, and he's kind of a sort of washed up cop, really, isn't he?
So it's quite a male-heavy film, this, but there are some women in there. We've got Kathy Moriarty, who she's done a few things. She was in what's the Joe Dante film with John Goodman? Mantis? No, that's the film in the film. The one with the bugs.
Matinee.
She's in that. She plays John Goodman's wife in it,
right.
And she's also in White of the Eye. Which is filmed by the other guy that made Performance, not Nicholas Roeg, the other one. Camel. I can't remember. I've forgotten, sorry. But that one as well. And Annabella Sciorra?
Yeah, let's go with that, yeah.
We'll go with that. And Janine Garofalo, who all I remember from is, I think she's in Reality Bites.
She is, yeah. I mean, I think she was she a stand-up as well?
Oh, she may have been.
I think so.
And Noah Emmerich, who was in The Truman Show.
Yeah.
He plays another cop in this, in the kind of the cop land part of the world.
Well, he's like a deputy to Stallone.
Yeah, but it's interesting actually. You say, because it's funny, because you say that, they're real cops.
Yeah.
But they're only uniform cops. They're not like detectives.
No.
They are just basically uniform cops, up to no good. All of them.
I mean, it's I don't know, we don't really have that sort of police hierarchy here, do we? Where you have they're only over the river and they've got a completely different kind of
police, a whole different police
with
force.
A different uniform and everything. Yeah, it's just a bit strange to us.
And they're really heavy-handed, and they're not, and they just do stop cars that are going too far, and they've got drug addicts and gangs, and over here is like typical small town America.
Yeah.
Lovely, warm-hearted films. And this is like Scorsese world. It's literally, and then a bridge.
But then the town is filled with cops, so any criminal is going to be pretty stupid to try and do anything.
Very stupid.
The only ones committing the crimes are the cops themselves, so that's why they get away with it.
Exactly. That's crazy. And in fact, if you sit down and think about it, the film's kind of crazy and nuts.
I don't know. I probably should have looked this up, but I don't know if there is actually a real place like that. I don't know. I'll have to Google it.
You could foresee it.
Yeah.
Maybe happening. Yeah, do that. Should have done it before we did the
Probably.
video. Yeah. So it was directed by James Mangold. This was his second film. He made a film before this called Heavy, which is quite a good film. And then he's done some quite well-known films. Obviously, Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix and 3:10 to Yuma.
Yep, remake with
Harvey Keitel. I didn't like that so much.
I can't remember if I've seen it. It's got Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of.
I think I've seen that. But he's got a bit of a sort of eclectic mix of films. Obviously, his last, I think, was Logan, which was really good. It's obviously a Wolverine movie, but almost like a Western. And before that, he did the previous Wolverine film called The Wolverine. But before that, like you say, he's done Walk the Line, which is a biopic, and you've got Girl Interrupted. He did that Identity film with John Cusack.
That's a good film.
So he's got some... And Girl Interrupted.
You said that.
Yeah, did I? Sorry. You should have interrupted me. So quite a strange mix of genres and films. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously, he likes to keep it interesting.
Yeah. So, and you like Copland?
Yeah. No, it's really good. Yeah. Like you say, maybe the plot, if you think about it too much, maybe slightly ridiculous and wouldn't quite happen like that. But I think again, the performances elevate it, and and it is interesting to watch Stallone in that sort of role, which he doesn't normally play. So no, highly recommend it.
Excellent stuff. Well, you recommend it. I would recommend it. You can still see it. Well, I just have it on DVD though. This is the director's cut. I can't quite work out. I think I've seen the original.
Yeah.
And then I watched the director's cut for this, but
I think it's sort of 10 or 11 minutes extra. In the
I think
director's cut.
there's a few scenes I wasn't sure if I remembered seeing before. But this has quite a few special features on it. We've got deleted scenes, storyboard sequencing, making all the usual stuff.
I mean, there are Blu-rays, and I think the only one that actually has both cuts on it, if you want both cuts, I think is the German edition. Everywhere else just seems to be the director's cut.
So that was Copland, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, let us know in the comments below.
Yep, hit the subscribe button up there if you've enjoyed what you've watched. There's some other videos to check out over there. Come and find us on Twitter and Facebook, and come back next week for another video.